Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Miami Heat insider projects Kevin Love to start ahead of Kel'el Ware in rotation. One person inquired about Miami Heat rookie Kel'el Ware's chances of playing ahead of Kevin Love in the rotation, and Ira Winderman seems to think that head coach Eric Spoelstra will roll with the more experienced Love as the team's backup big man to start the 2024-25 NBA season. But Kel'el Ware also is entering a win-now situation, particularly at the beginning of the season, Winderman wrote. The Heat essentially spent last season attempting to recover from their uneven start. So I would think Eric Spoelstra would go early with his best, win-now rotation. And Kevin Love did not return to play an emeritus role. He re-signed to play. When he wasn't playing in Cleveland, he requested a buyout. I doubt his attitude has changed in the interim. Tyler Herro was a number 13 pick and played all but 8 of his rookie season games off the bench. Bam Adebayo was a number 14 pick and played all but 19 of his rookie games off the bench. Yes, starting and being a rotation reserve are two different things. But it would seem the best way for Kel'el Ware to be a rotation reserve would be to show he could play alongside Bam. When that becomes an option, then anything and everything become possible. Ware was selected with the first non-lottery pick of the 2024 NBA draft, and he is not far removed from an impressive two-way showing in the Las Vegas Summer League. He averaged 18.0 points on 61.8% shooting from the floor along with 8.3 rebounds and 1.5 blocks per game across 6 contests. Also, in regards to Ware's fit alongside Adebayo in the frontcourt, the youngster at least seems to believe that he has the skills necessary to complement the 3-time NBA All-Star. "Me and Bam can definitely play beside each other because we complement each other so well," said Ware. "His position is really the 4, and so me coming in as the 5-man, I can protect the paint and just being able to do what I always do." Ware's knacks for blocking shots and scoring the ball on the interior could prove to be valuable to a Heat team that isn't exactly loaded with productive paint presences. But one can see why Winderman thinks Spoelstra will play Love ahead of Ware, at least to start the 2024-25 regular season, when taking a look at the latter's experience playing in the NBA. Love has 16 seasons in the NBA under his belt, and he has played in several different roles in that time. Earlier on in his career, he got a taste of what it's like to be a franchise player, as he starred for the Minnesota Timberwolves for a sizable period of time. Later in his career, Love was able to experience a lot more collective success. He played alongside LeBron James and Kyrie Irving on the Cleveland Cavaliers for 3 seasons, and during that span, the team won 1 title in 2016 and reached 3 championship series. Fast forward to more recently, and he was an important part of Miami's rotation in the 2023-24 regular season. He appeared in 55 games, 5 starts, in his second season with the Heat and averaged 8.8 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per contest. Cities want to give workers heat breaks. States are stopping them. This summer's most recent heat wave has broken temperature records in nearly 50 cities across the southeast. As these blistering temperatures move east, cities across the northeast are bracing for triple digits, while Houston residents are preparing for scorching heat without power. Millions of Americans are suffering under a heat advisory, meaning that exposure to the elements for just an hour or two could severely impact their health. Across the country, cities are encouraging residents to stay inside and are opening up cooling centers wherever possible to help prevent deadly heat stroke. If it seems like these heat waves are coming more often and are increasing in intensity, it's because they are. Scientists have confirmed what we are all experiencing. Heat waves are happening more often, lasting longer, and the temperatures are hotter, all due to greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere from burning fossil fuels. The Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration has proposed a heat illness prevention rule to protect workers from this extreme heat, but it will likely be years before workers feel its protections as corporations are gearing up to challenge the rule in the courts. In the meantime, many local and state governments across the country are adopting policies to help people cool down while temperature records continue to be broken. But some states are going in the opposite direction. This past spring, the Florida state legislature passed a new law, HB 433, that specifically prohibits local governments in the state from protecting workers from heat exposure. Following Texas' lead just last year, where their Death Star bill sought to ban local governments from implementing any new policies not set already by the state, this new law prevents local governments from setting any standards when it comes to water consumption, cooling measures, acclimation or recovery period, first aid measures related to heat exposure and more. Even as record-breaking heat waves blanket the state, HB 433 goes so far as to prevent local requirements that employers post or distribute notices that inform workers how to protect themselves from heat exposure. While health professionals across the country advise caution during the scorching summer, state legislatures say, let them burn. This law is the latest in a national trend of Republican-controlled state legislatures undermining the power of local governments to protect the most vulnerable. HB 433 in Florida was actually a reaction to a worker-led movement in Miami-Dade to pass workplace heat protections. 2 reasons why the Heat should trade for Brandon Ingram, 1 why they shouldn't. The Miami Heat are expected to make roster changes this offseason, as confirmed by Pat Riley in his end-of-season press conference. How drastic and/or how big of an overhaul Riley and brass decide to go is still very much in question. There are 7 players under contract through next season, including Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Nikola Jovic. Even with Butler and Adebayo under contract, they are due for extensions. Butler's extension doesn't have to take place for another year, but it is yet to be seen if he and his camp will formally request it by this summer. The others under contract, such as Herro, Jovic and Jaquez, could be viewed as assets in the open market. The Heat are always in the mix for the next whale, with players like Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Trae Young and even LeBron James being linked to Miami by the media over the last few months. But with the team's financial situation being hard-capped at the second apron, what if they look for a cheaper way to improve the roster? Someone who fits that description could be New Orleans Pelicans forward Brandon Ingram, who is expected to be available on the trade market. Ingram, an underrated scorer, is coming off a season with averages of 20.8 points, 5.7 assists, and 5.1 rebounds on 49.2% shooting and 35.5% from deep. He is also set to make around $30 million next season, unlike the $45 to $50 million range for names like Mitchell, Durant, Young, and James. That is an easier contract to navigate and work around, granted the Heat have to send back salary to the Pelicans to get a deal done. At just 26 years old, the upside is certainly there with a player like Ingram. Let's go over a couple reasons why a trade for him makes sense for the Heat, along with a crucial reason why they shouldn't do so. Miami sported a top 5 defensive rating during this year's regular season but ranked 21st in offensive rating. It seemed like the Heat couldn't keep up on that side of the ball during several stretches throughout the year. You can rely on Ingram to put up points and create offense. Outside of his 20.8 points this season, he averaged 23.8 points on average over the 4 seasons prior. The 2022 to 2023 campaign for Ingram was the best of his career, when he put up 24.7 points, career high, 5.8 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and 0.7 steals on 48.4% shooting and 39% from three-point range. His career high in points came in a game back in 2020, where he put up 49 points in a game against the Utah Jazz. Having someone with this scoring potential could provide a much-needed boost to the Heat's offense. There were way too many scoring droughts during games for Miami the past few years, and a scorer of Ingram's caliber and reputation is an attractive addition to pair with the skill set of Butler and Adebayo. When the game slows down, this current Heat roster lacks go-to-scoring options. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Brandon Ingram? Leave your opinion in the comments.